Good morning, fellow normals. Here we are on episode 2 of Normal People Talking. This is our second weekend in a row to go and search for our new home in the Central Texas area. And we've had quite the week since the last time we talked. It's been an adventure and a half. So I guess it was last Saturday when we did our first video where we came out and looked at some properties, and we ended up finding one at the very end of the day, one that we hadn't gone to look at before because it didn't really look too nice or right on the pictures online. There's a funny story behind that. But we went and saw it as the last one. We went, oh, just FYI, we looked at 10 different houses last Saturday. 10 different properties. And our real estate agent who met us out there, sweet lady, our backup second real estate agent because the other one got sick, thought we were crazy. And thought we were not going to be able to do 10 houses in one day. And we showed her!
I think we nailed it. I think we did great. Granted, we knocked off 2.
Yeah.
Because one was buy something I don't want to live by, and then one was
too expensive.
Yeah.
It's
brand new on the market.
Brand new on the market. They redid
priced.
all this crap on the inside, yeah. And they were asking way too much per square foot. So it looked pretty, but we just decided, nah, we're not gonna go see it. But with the last one we did see, which is one of the ones we're gonna go see again today, was right kind of up our alley. It had 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. The kitchen was redone. Had, new appliances. The bathrooms were in good shape. Had a brand new bathtub that was
had 2 bathrooms.
Had 2 bathrooms and a walk-in shower in the master, and then the other one had a nice big bathtub.
And it has a beautiful yard. Yeah,
it had a really beautiful yard that we could actually expand and get like another couple thousand square feet out of. We just moved the fence. Had an RV hookup already. Had a greenhouse in the back, place where we can entertain. Like, it was a good spot. They were asking a little too much money for it, but we did put an offer in. They countered, so now we're kind of in the process of figuring out what we want to counter with. And,
so we're gonna go look at it again today.
Yeah, we're gonna go check it out again today. But that was Saturday. We came back, and I guess Sunday was a pretty relaxing day. Wasn't too crazy. Went to church,
made a meal,
cleaned the apartment, got things kind of settled a little bit more.
Just started to feel kind of like
comfortable. Yeah, right.
Like I know where some things are. I mean, there's still boxes, and we don't quite fit, but we had our flow for work and laundry and showering and sleeping and cooking. Like, we had our flow. And the animals had settled in. Like, Gidget had a kennel she was sleeping in. We could get, cats could stay in their room. They were being quiet. They weren't freaking out every day. Even Sam was in a kennel and liking that. Yeah. And the cats had just started relaxing. They have been the hardest to adjust. Because every night they were being just a pain in the ass and didn't want to stay in their room. And, it just got to the point where Sunday night, I think, was the first night where we had a relaxing evening to sleep, right? Yeah. And then Monday morning happened. And we got up our normal routine. 6:30 in the morning. 6:30. Got the dogs, put our, warm clothes on, got the dogs all hooked up, went out, took them for a walk, and they did their business. We came back, and I had to leave kind of early that morning because I had a delivery at the office at 8 a.m. And so we got back, and Sarah was feeding the dog, so I went to jump in the shower. And as I'm turning the shower on and getting ready to get in the shower, I hear the dog start barking ferociously out in the living room. So I walked out there and opened the door real quick. What's going on? And Sarah said, that is not how it happened. It was ding, 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 doorbell. I didn't hear the doorbell. Yeah. All I heard was the dog. That's why I was saying. Okay. All I heard was the dogs barking. So that's when I went out there. And you were in the shower. And the doorbell went off, and I looked out the window, and it was the angry man that lives below us, who had basically threatened us the first day we moved in to keep it down. And we were like, man, we're so sorry, we're just moving in. And he's like, I work nights, my mom works nights, y'all gotta keep it down. And you're like, sorry. And it's like noon, and then he came back multiple times, harassed us, and we had talked to the apartment manager about it, and she was like, oh no, he should not be harassing you at your place of residence. And so for 2 weeks we didn't hear from him, so we kind of thought, well, maybe
she handled it.
Yeah, maybe it's better.
You know,
and kind of we had been tiptoeing around the apartment and vacuuming at like 9:30 p.m. and, you know, just trying to like be courteous of his schedule. But of course we have dogs, and they definitely are, I'm sure, loud. But then, so the doorbell's like ding, 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 ding at 6:30 in the morning. I look out.
6:30 in the morning.
Yeah. And if he works nights, that's when he would just be getting back. But anyways, it's him, and we had already decided we weren't going to answer the door anymore because he was so just unsettling and not willing to have a conversation. And so I tell Jay, I'm like, get out of the shower.
Well, and he starts yelling at Sarah through the door, you know, we've got a problem, where's your husband? You know,
I tell him, I'm at the door, and I'm like, I am not answering the door, you need to leave. And he's like shouting at me, and I'm like, you need to leave, I'm not answering the door. And he's like, get your husband out here, I'm gonna F this up, da da da. And so I called the police, and took them like 45 minutes to get there. And they, you know, they kind of asked us questions, asked him questions. He was out there yelling, and they're like, sir, get back in your house. And then basically the police solution was that we should move.
Yeah.
That not everybody's meant to be neighbors, and that we should probably move. And I was like, man, you know, we literally just moved in 2 weeks ago, and it's our whole house. My garage is full, our apartment is full. Like, that's really expensive and exhausting. And he's like, yeah, everyone's just not meant to be neighbors. So the next day,
well, he then said, he did tell us then, he said he does not need to be coming over to your apartment again. If he does, do not answer the door, call us, we will de-escalate the situation and handle that moving forward. And we said, okay, that sounds good.
Yeah. So then Jay needed to go to work. It was my day off, and all of that was disrupted because Jay wasn't going to leave me home alone. And he's down, the guy, the angry old troll, is downstairs
drinking beer.
It's like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Talking to all the maintenance crew that's outside,
bitching,
telling them how
yelling.
Terrible neighbors we are and how we called the cops on him.
And we're waiting to go talk to apartment management, and I guess so is he. And so then,
and all the while, we're quiet. We are silent upstairs. The dogs have settled down.
I'm freaking hiding out.
Yeah, they're sleeping. You know, everything's quiet. And we wait until about 9:15-ish to walk over and talk to the apartment management. And we walk over there together. And as soon as we open the door, he's in there with a 16-ounce Miller High Life in his hand, walking around trying to get anyone to listen to him about how terrible his life is and how bad his neighbors are and how we called the cops on him and all these things. And as soon as he sees us walk in the door, he looks back at us and he says, you need to keep these people away from me.
And like most of the people that know us are like,
we're so threatening, right? Like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do to you, right? So we just calmly walk in and go straight into the office of the lady that we originally talked to and close the door behind us and flat out told her, we're done with this. We're not gonna do this anymore. I don't feel safe in my apartment. This guy came over at 7 o'clock this morning, 6:30 this morning, and was, you know, aggressively ringing our doorbell, making threats through us through the door. Yeah. We're done. Like, you guys need to do something about this because we're not going to live in this kind of scenario anymore. And we shouldn't have to live like silent hobbits in our apartment, staring at the wall, not doing anything.
During the day and the night, because his mom works nights and he doesn't work or whatever the situation is. So
he finally finishes his rants or whatever and leaves. So we were able to go in and talk to the apartment manager, Andrea, who was a very nice lady. And we talked this second time we've spoken to her about this same guy. And we basically explained to her the same scenario. Like, this is what happened. We're not comfortable with this. We had to call the police on this man. And moving forward, we don't feel safe. I don't feel safe in my apartment. I don't feel safe leaving my wife here by herself. I was supposed to be at work 2 hours ago, and I'm still here talking to you about this problem. So and she explained, she asked us, well, tell me the whole story. Tell me everything that happened. I have to give him the option, or I have to give him the right to come in and tell his side of the story. So after you guys leave, you're welcome to stay in the office here if you want, or you can go back to your apartment, and I will call him over and let him have his conversation. And we said, no, we'll go back to our apartment. You know, we feel safer behind a locked door. We'll be fine over there. And so we left, and as we were walking back to our apartment, he's standing out on the front porch, mean mugging us, just staring at us walking by. So we walked right into our garage, closed the door, went upstairs, and sat down quietly. Sarah made a phone call to the real estate agent who we're going to see today, and I got on my computer and started getting some work done. And we were silent. We weren't moving.
Were asleep.
Dogs were asleep. Everything was quiet. No big deal. When we hear him leave his apartment and go across the parking lot to talk to the apartment complex, he's gone for about 15-20 minutes. And then we hear him storming back over, cursing on his way. He slams his front door. And we were kind of quiet.
The apartment complex had to call the police on him.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
About 15 minutes goes by, and then I hear someone knocking on the front door. So I check our little camera, and it's the police again. So I calmly walk downstairs, and I open the door, and I said, "Can I help you, officer?" And I closed the door behind me, and he said, "Well, I understand we have another problem." And I said, "I don't have a problem. I'm quietly sitting upstairs working on my computer while my wife is talking on the phone to our real estate agent. I don't have any problems." And he said, and the whole time he's standing outside of his apartment staring at me through the side of my head. The angry troll is standing outside of his apartment staring through the side of my head. And I told the officer very calmly, said, "I don't know what I'm supposed to do here, sir. I'm upstairs quietly working on my computer. My dogs are asleep, and my wife is talking on the phone with a real estate agent. There is no noise being made, so I'm not sure what else I'm supposed to do here." And the officer rolls his eyes while he's looking at me and says, "Okay, moving forward, he doesn't need to be coming over to your apartment. If there are any more complaints, once again, please call us. We will come and take care of the situation." And I said, "Thank you, officer." And as I turned to go back in my apartment, the troll starts yelling, hey man, I want to talk to you." And so I just calmly walked back into my apartment while the police officer handled that situation and told him, "You need to go back in your apartment right now." You know, basically told him he needs to settle down and, you know, call it a day or go away. And so we go back inside, and both Sarah and I looked at each other and said, "We're done. We're out of here.
Yeah.
We're not doing this anymore." So it's 6-day notice time. We're getting the heck out of here. Now we're on.
Alright.
What were you saying?
I was just saying, this has been such a different experience. Having bought and sold a few houses in Kingwood. One, we grew up there. I know the area. One of my very best friends is my realtor. She tells me, "You don't want this house. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that." You know. Or she'll say, "Yeah, this is good. This is built by so and so," or whatever. So one, just not being familiar with the area is new, and then coming from suburbia, you know, these master plan communities where one of my complaints has always been like every fifth house is exactly the same. Well, when you do comps and when you are shopping, like, you kind of know what you're going to get, and so the comps are actually legitimate comps, whereas here all the neighborhoods are different, all the houses are different. One house right next to another house is so different that even though there's comps in the area, like, they're not necessarily equivalent.
Yep, and they have different ages of homes. Some of them are 100 years old, some of them are 70 years old.
Some pier and beam, some slab, which I'm not familiar with pier and beam. I think that's what I want, but I'm not familiar with it. But I really do like our realtor. I think she knows. I think this is the second time we've been with her, and I think she's definitely kind of understanding who we are and what we're looking for. And I think maybe that part isn't that unique. You know, maybe what we're looking for is what a lot of people are looking for.
Yeah. She's got a lot of experience in the Belleville market.
And they did the same thing, essentially. They moved from a suburban neighborhood out there and had an old house, and It was nice to hear her husband's perspective too, you know. He's like, they're definitely a lot of work, you know. So I don't want to glamorize something that might end up being more than we want to manage.
Yes, and that's the thing, that we don't know what we don't know, and we don't know anything about that, with the exception of the headache that the big house is, but we can't really hold that in comparison because it's so massive and such a different beast.
And it's 110 years old.
Yeah, and
Or
the houses
more.
that we're looking at here, the one that we looked at today is built in 1950, right?
Yeah.
So that's, 75 years old at this point, almost. That's a pretty good aged home,
Mm-hmm.
And I think we are, we're delicate in our approach. And last week we fell in love with the house that we thought was going to be the one we wanted. I'm glad we took a second trip out here and were able to walk the property again. And it was the last one we looked at last week. We got excited, put in the offer, they countered, didn't talk to them since, came back out here and looked at it, and we found things that we didn't even notice last time.
Yeah, like cracks in the ceiling.
Dead trees in the yard,
a mole in the front yard.
Yeah, all these things. And then we finally got a chance to look at the disclosure a little more in depth, and we realized that all the siding on the house is asbestos. And that's just, to me, that's a deal killer. I don't want to have to deal with that. I don't want to have to physically be around that.
Yeah, I don't either.
By the way, she just texted us.
Oh, she did? Okay.
Check. So our realtor now we found another spot that was another house a little bit outside of town in Belleville, and it's real pretty. It's all well done. It's a brick house built in 1980, I think. And whoever lived there before did a great job renovating the whole thing. Got brand new windows, brand new air conditioner, the whole. I mean, it's a very well put together, ready to go house. But they're asking the same price they are for the other house, and we just feel like these are too high. These prices are too high, and so she's putting together an offer very similar to what we did on the other one to see. But I think, we were just talking before we turned the camera on that there's a, country Texas game being played right now in real estate, and lots of probably half-truths being told, and offers that might or might not be real being made.
Oh, you mean
with the real estate?
agents?
Yeah, with these agents that are trying to get us to
I think what
panic
it is,
and give a great deal and go.
We're coming off a season where that was the market, right? Like, it was crazy town, things were disappearing, people had to make snap decisions, people were buying houses sight unseen, which I can't imagine. I truly can't imagine. But we're leaving that, and sellers and agents don't want to leave that because they're coming off some of the best financial years they've ever had.
Yeah.
Buyers, we're ready for that to be over.
Yeah.
And so I think they're trying to just kind of keep that momentum going, even though it's not.
Yeah. So we'll see. We made the offer, and we're gonna find out how it goes, and if it comes to fruition, then awesome. If not, we're just gonna be patient, and we're gonna keep doing this as many weekends as we can, and go out and tour the countryside and see what comes up, and find the right place that we feel comfortable in. And definitely not overpay for something that we will potentially have buyer's remorse on 6 months later when the comparable house sells for $30,000 less than what we paid.
Well, exactly. And I have to say, like, I was excited, then I was discouraged, and now my heart just feels like, just be patient.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at right now. And whatever way you're taking right now is so beautiful.
I know.
Did you find a pretty way?
Thanks, Google.
Yeah.
No, we're doing some country driving.
This is gorgeous.
Gidget's super excited about it. There's lots of fields she wants to go run in right now.
She probably is like a salmon swimming upstream. You're very close to where you were born. Just a couple miles north of here. You smell your hometown. We were born in the same hometown. Grandma Brown too. Hearn, Texas. That's pretty. This is gorgeous. Okay, she's asking, do you want a 10-day option?
But you were saying you feel, today was kind of a roller coaster a little bit. You're excited, then you were discouraged, and then now you're back to feeling...
I feel resigned or something. I don't know if that's the right word, but I just feel... I feel in my heart, just be patient. And...
What was the number that I gave you yesterday when you were driving home from Brenham? Do you remember what I put out to the universe?
It was 278.
It was 278,000. And I said 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, acre plus.
And you don't want to work on it? That's not going to happen.
No. I didn't say that.
You said that today. You said I don't want to work on it.
Oh, that would be nice. Because the one that we just looked at, we don't need to work on, right? It's essentially good to go. But what I was saying last night is something in that price range would be ideal for us. What are you doing,
okay,
girl?
boo-boo? Too many French fries?
Too much
Is she
sodium.
choking herself?
No, she does it every day.
Oh, she might be thirsty.
Oh, we didn't give him any water, did we?
No.
Well, let's get up here where
Okay.
on the freeway, and we can turn around or stop. But yeah, I think that I just had that vision last night of that being the homestead we find, and not sure whether it's Navasota or Belleville or Brenham or whatever. That's kind of the homestead I envisioned, and the place that we can be at, price-wise.
I mean, I love that. I really, really love the idea of that. Maybe that's Navasota.
Yeah, because then we can put a chunk of money down and have some left over for whatever, renovations we do want to partake in. And then we can kind of slow roll some of those renovations too, where we can take our time. If we're going to live there for a while, we can do what's important for us to have immediately, and then work on the bigger stuff as we get the funds for it later.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like something that is move-in ready, even if it's not our taste or our style, or we have bigger plans, but something that we can move in, get a breather, make plans for how we do want to make changes or styles or paints or whatever. But to have good bones, good AC, good roof, good fence, or, just some good bones.
And a place for little Gidget to be able to run around and
be her crazy little
crazy outside.
Yes. I do think, your numbers right now, we're not seeing that anywhere.
Correct.
However, I think the ability for prices to come down is
There's
inevitable.
potential there.
Yeah. And lending agents saying that they think rates are going to come down a little bit.
Yep.
I've heard that from a couple people.
Which all means that it's moving in the right direction, and it's going to flip to a buyer's market in the near future, and we'll have a little bit more power and control over our money, and be able to be sitting in a better position when we make an offer on a house.
I am a little weary. I'm a little, that's what I think. Patience is what I can give right now.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
Yeah.
We definitely both wanted to have something done fast and quick, and be able to already be in it and be in that part of our life and be doing that, but I think the reality of the situation was we got out of our house at the right time.
Yeah.
We got the most, technically had we sold our house probably 8 months earlier when the girls were still there and all that stuff, we probably would have gotten more money for it.
No, I think
But we
Kingwood
would've
was
felt-
kind of delayed that way.
Yeah, it would have been bittersweet because it would have been very difficult to do that.
And I didn't want to disrupt Zoe's graduation and her senior year and everything. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, so that wasn't at all in the cards or the plan. But I think when we did sell the house, we got the top amount of money we wanted to get out of it, and we put ourselves in a good spot to have that money to do something else with.
Yeah. I kind of am rethinking all of it now, though.
It came with its own stresses and its own problems.
But I guess when I look at it, we want a house that fits us better for the season we're moving into. The girls coming home, potentially growing into families that'll come home and visit. We want big open kitchen space to entertain people, comfortable guest situation for people to spend the night. Like that's what we wanted next.
Yep.
That was the goal.
Fun place for people to want to come to stay with us, and be with us, and also both inside and outside of our home.
Full bathroom downstairs, or one story. The commute is, I've been thinking about that a lot, and here's what's complicated. I actually really enjoy the commute. I think the drive is nice. The tolls are going to be expensive, and I won't enjoy that commute as much.
Without the non-toll commute is going to suck.
Yes.
However, Beltway 8 is not going to be as bad as 99.
Right, like it's not as
Less
expensive,
expensive.
but it would be better than no tolls. And then the other thing that I'm concerned about is just really long days, because you have to be at work earlier than I do. I have to work later than you do. And those are just really long days.
And I think part of what we talked about on the way up is that if we really want to do this, we can make it work. We just have to be able to commit to that sacrifice and do that for this short season of our life for a little while, until we can make it what we want it to be later.
Well, and start transitioning businesses.
Correct.
And that kind of thing. Growing your business this direction. Maybe be doing Christian counseling in this area. I don't want to grow the hair here, but I will grow the Christian counseling. Anything else?
I don't think so. We are now going to go and enjoy this drive home in our new commute. We're going to try Beltway 8 and just see how it goes. And we have 1 hour of driving to do as of right now.
Yeah. Which last part was beautiful.
Yeah. That little side road we took was nice. Going through the country. So.
I wonder if anything's for sale over there.
Yeah. It's a farm.
Yeah.
Style. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and exit and get these dogs some water.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Check you later.